I wish we could sell, I want to sell it this time, but
What are they selling for?
my son-in-law sold 3 heifers, at Decatur last week, brought the ugliest one brought $1.05, and the other 2 brought about $1.12, 15. They weighed about 650.
What are steers from?
I talked
Are
to a
they
guy,
that low?
I talked to another guy, some of them brought $1.40,
Yeah.
550s, 450s, 5s.
They weigh 6
I
to
don't
7.
usually do it, but they're looking like right
Probably
now.
bring only, what, about $1.30?
You're not paying them much to keep past 450 pounds. I like to wait till they weigh 5 and a half.
Are you gonna be the timer tonight, Brian?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Judge, here comes the judge.
All
How
right.
are you?
How are you?
Good.
J.P. Hobson?
Yes.
Yes, good to see you, sir. Good to be seen. I'm not on camera, huh? Yep. Oh, gosh. Well, that'll leave you right here. I like that hat. This is better.
Yes, it is.
It's broken in.
Time to rock and roll, dear.
It's time to rock and roll, okay. The Finance and Budget Committee will come to order. Our prayer tonight will be led by Lisa Ecke, and the pledge. I want to take a moment to recognize Candy Clark, who passed away on Friday, and her hard work to get the Washington County Animal Shelter built. Lisa, would you lead us in a word of prayer?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will lead in prayer and then a moment of silence, followed by the pledge of allegiance. Thank you. Gracious Heavenly Father, we are so humble and thankful for this time of year, and it is the most wonderful time of the year because we remember the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And in that spirit of love and peace and goodwill to all men, I pray and I ask that we as JPs would extend that to one another and to all those in our district. We just pray, God bless America. And now a moment of silence for former Justice of the Peace, Candy Clark. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Patty, will you please call the roll?
Susan Cunningham,
Here.
Patrick Dickens,
Here.
Sam Duncan,
Here.
Lisa Ecke,
Here.
Ann Harbison,
Here.
Suki Hires,
Here.
Andrea Jenkins,
Here.
Lance Johnson,
Here.
Willie Lemming,
Present.
Eva Madison,
Here.
Sue Madison.
She's having trouble getting in, just so you know. She texted me.
Okay, thank you. Butch Pond,
Here.
Derek Thomas, Chandra Washington,
Here.
Judith Yanez,
Here.
JP Harbison, we have a quorum.
Thank you. We have an ordinance, item 20-0-097 to add to the agenda. It's from the Building and Grounds, and it's for furniture for the new courtroom. And I'm gonna add it as 10B to the agenda. Are there any other items to add to the agenda? If not, do I hear a motion to adopt the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, the agenda has been adopted. All right, Treasurer Bobby Hill, for the treasurer's report.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello, everybody. I hope everyone is well tonight. Let's get right into it at 4.1, Treasurer Summary. If you look down at 1001, this is the General Reserve Fund that y'all approved last month, $4.5 million in it. And also look at 1005, Coronavirus Relief Fund. We got the money in last month, $4,549,000. Again, this is unrestricted money that I'm sure there'll be a lot of discussions in the coming months. If you look at the bottom of the page, 6002, collectors unapportioned, you'll notice there's almost $20 million sitting there. That's the 10% that we hold back on tax collections and also the collector commissions. This will be distributed. Part of it will be this month and the rest of it will be in the coming months ahead. You go to 4.2, 1 cent sales tax. Another very good month. 761,000 came in. That's 72,000 more than last year at this time. 10.5% increase. For the year, that's 7.7%. In September of 2019, this is September collections. We had Backs, Blues, and Barbecue and 2 Razorback home games with no attendance restrictions. This year, we had no Backs, Blues, and Barbecue and 1 Razorback game, home game with little attendance. And we're still up 10.5%. So that's very good news as far as the revenue goes. 4.3, the quarter-cent jail tax. Same percentage increase, almost 10.5%. For the year, the jail is 752 or 762,000 above this same period last year. 4.4, how it kind of breaks down the areas with the biggest declines were full-service restaurants and bars. The areas with the biggest increases was other miscellaneous retailers, and a lot of that is the medical marijuana, e-shopping, and building supply stores. 4.5, the quarter-cent the quarter-cent radio tax. It's 3 months in, the 12-month tax, and a little over 3 million has come in. 4.6, the road half-cent state tax. It was good this month also, 6.73% above last year. And for the year, it's coming in at 2.23% above 2019. And finally, 4.7, this is the property taxes received by the county general fund. So far, we're up about 2.5% over 2019. We will have the final tax settlement here in the next week or two to come in. That's all I have. If anybody has any questions.
are there any questions for our Treasurer Hill? All right, JP Lisa Eckes.
Thank you, Treasurer Hill. On the quarter-cent radio system sales tax, you have a total of $3,113,000, so on, so on. But you were projecting 3,800,000 for this time period? Was
That's
that your
for the-
projection?
That's the projection, September through December. We still have 1 month to go.
Okay, so that's through December. Okay,
Yes, that projection is.
all right. Thanks for clarifying that.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Thank you very much, Mr. Hill, for your report. It was very good.
Thank you.
We'll move on to Agenda 5, Employee Insurance. Nelson Driver.
Okay, can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, well, good news again this month. I'm pleased to report that we began the month of November with $3,193,000 in the Employee Health Fund. We ended up the month of November with $3,319,000. We're up. That's always good news, but the only caution I would give is we're in December. December typically means that last minute medical procedures are being done, elective surgical procedures, etc. And that will shake out during the months of January and February of 2021 as those bills start to come in from the medical providers. Right now, we're sitting in good shape going into 2021. We won't really know, what the final shakeout is until we start getting the final bills in for procedures that were done, that are going to be done this month, December of 2020. But right now, I think the fund is sitting in pretty good shape.
Okay, are there any questions for Mr. Driver? If not, thank you, and thank you for the excellent report. I've seen this report, and when it wasn't quite as favorable. I
Thank
think
you.
we're on the right track. Thank you. All right, we're ready for item 6, our controller's report. Shannon Worthing.
Yes, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. 6.1 is the summary statement of operations, expenses by funded department, and those are all laid out in your packet. And we shouldn't be at, if expenses are linear, we shouldn't be any more than 92%. And if you skip over to page 14, the total for all the general accounts is 83.1%. Then we have all the special project funds, and if you skip over to page 16, the overall total for all the funds is 84.4%. And then 6.2 is the unappropriated reserve balance report, and showing all the ordinances for last month and their effect on the unappropriated reserve balances. And then you skip down to the bottom of the page, have general fund plus the general reserve fund less the jail fund deficit. We're sitting at $5,470,000, and that's all I have for the comptroller's report.
Are there any questions for Mr. Worthing? Thank you very much for the report. All right, we're ready for item number 7. You want to read the title to ordinance 7, Attorney Brian Lester, please.
Yes, ma'am. Item 7 is an ordinance changing the title and grades of various positions in the Circuit Court 3 budget for 2020.
Okay, if y'all remember, we had this ordinance last month with a raise in it, but she considered the raise that we had given the employees, so she withdrew that part of the ordinance. Are there any questions? Do I have a motion to pass this?
Madam Chair, motion to pass 7.1.
Do I have a
Hey,
second?
Ian, I mean,
I'll second
Okay, second.
with the comment that with this has all been through Jay said.
Yes, okay. J.P. Lemming,
I'll just add, it went through JSAP, and so they're getting the raise that we passed for everybody, they're gonna get that one. And the step's gonna happen or not? The step, with the
That's
step?
the jail.
that's in the jail, there's
Oh, I
no
thought that
steps
was
here.
I thought that was in that other,
No.
okay, fine.
All right, are there any other questions? J.P. Pond,
To clarify, Mr. J.P. Lemming, touched on it. One of the reasons that, this all got cleared up was because of the $130 a month pay increase. Who's gonna take care of all that?
yes.
So, in case there was anybody listening in that didn't quite understand. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? All right, Ms. Patty, would you call the roll, please?
Public comment.
Oh, public comment. Do we have any public comment on this ordinance? Seeing none, Ms. Patty, will you please call the roll?
Chandra Washington,
Yes.
Eva Madison,
Yes.
Andrea Jenkins,
Yes.
Suki Hires,
Yes.
Sue Madison,
Yes.
Willie Lemming,
Yes.
Butch Pond,
Yes.
Lance Johnson,
Yes.
Susan Cunningham,
Yes.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
Yes.
Patrick Deacons,
Yes.
Lisa Ecke,
Yes.
Sam Duncan.
Yes.
This is approved.
So this is, has passed and is passed on to the quorum court. All right, we are ready for item number 8, would you read the title, please, Mr. Lester?
Item 8 is an ordinance anticipating revenue totaling $1,846,000 in the Crisis Stabilization Unit Grant Fund and appropriating $1,846,000 from the CSU Grant Fund to the other professional services line item in the CSU Grant Fund budget for 2020.
Madam Chair, motion to pass
Second.
8.1.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, do we have any public comment?
Got one hand raised here, Sarah Moore.
Okay. Sarah Moore, you're recognized.
Hi, I'm Sarah Moore, Fayetteville, Arkansas. I just wondered if the court could possibly ask the question. I'm just curious. I didn't see a time frame that this grant funding is from that we're appropriating for the CSU. So I'm just curious what that amount, what time period that covers in the year 2020. Thank you.
Is it not in the ordinance?
It covers, I think it covers all of 2020. It fills out the funding for 2020, and it may also cover the first 2 or 3 months of 2021.
Okay. Thank you. Can all of you hear, Attorney Lester? Are there any other public comments? Seeing none, Ms. Patty, will you call the roll, please?
Chandra Washington,
Yes.
Eva Madison,
Yes.
Andrea Jenkins, Andrea Jenkins,
Yes.
Suki Hires,
Yes.
Sue Madison,
Yes.
Willie Lemming,
Yes.
Butch Pond,
Yes.
Lance Johnson,
Yes.
Susan Cunningham,
Yes.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
Yes.
Patrick Dickens,
Yes.
Lisa Ecke,
Yes.
Sam Duncan.
Yes.
This passes.
All right, this passes on to the Quorum Court. All right, we're ready for, number 10, and J.P. Lance Johnson is presenting this ordinance.
That's 9.
9.
Oh, 9, excuse me.
Yes.
We are on number 9, not
Number
10.
9.
It's 9, sorry.
Do you want to read the ordinance,
Yes.
Mr. Lister?
Item 9 is an ordinance recognizing revenue of $217,852.20 in the Center for Tech and Civic Life Grant Fund and appropriating said $217,852.20 to various line items in the Election Commission and County Clerk budgets for 2020.
Okay. Madam Chair, first of all, we need to amend the ordinance to add an Article 1 that says there is hereby created the CTCL Grant Fund. That's a request of Bobby Hill, and I make a motion that we amend the motion to add that ordinance.
Second.
All right.
If that passes, I'd like
Okay,
to
we
address
need
the ordinance.
to, vote on the amendment. So, let's just do a voice vote. All those in favor of this amendment, say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, no. Okay, the amendment has passed.
Okay. Madam Chair, this is a grant provided by the Center for Tech and Civic Life, which is a nonprofit organization that, the best I can tell from their website, is supported by private enterprise. The grant is specifically provided for election commissions to reimburse them for money they spent during the COVID. This is money that will reimburse expenses that we've already incurred, and we're either gonna have to reimburse it with this money or reimburse it from someplace else. So I move that we pass this to the Quorum Court with a do pass recommendation.
Second.
All right, J.P. Pond.
Could we have a reading of how this Article 1 will, can you read out how that's gonna be worded with the amendment, or is that amendment actually what I have in front of me here?
Does yours have an Article 1 on it?
It has an Article 1, yes.
No, Article 1 and 2 on your sheet will go down to 2 and 3. We'll add an Article 1 that creates the CTCL Grant Fund with the fund number, which was what was requested by Treasurer Hill.
Okay, can you state to us how that will be worded, the new Article 1?
The new Article 1 will be worded exactly how J.P. Johnson read it.
We'll say there is hereby created the CTCL Grant Fund 3520. Okay. All we're doing is creating a fund for budget purposes. All right, thank you.
I have a,
Okay, J.P. Ecke.
thank you, Madam Chair. I don't know how common it is for a nonprofit organization to provide a grant to local government. I just hope that there's not going to be a conflict of interest. I mean, I'm very glad that there is money being given to the Election Commission. I just am questioning if this is either a conflict of interest, if somebody can just discuss that. I'm not familiar with this group. So I yield the floor, Madam Chair.
Okay, J.P. Johnson.
Yeah, there was no demands with the grant that we do anything, and the Quorum Court, or the Election Commission, does not use Dominion software.
That's good.
It's good.
Do we know who, if I may, do we know who applied for this? Was it the election
The
commission?
election commission through our grant administration.
Right. Just wanted to know who applied for the grant and made it available, because I don't know.
I believe they gave this grant, this group's out of Little Rock, and I believe they gave it out to all counties to help with defer some of the costs that they've had, is my understanding.
Okay. Thank you for the information.
It's probably Johnson Control.
All right, are there any other questions? All right, public comment. Seeing none, Miss Patty, will you call the roll?
Chandra Washington,
Yes.
Eva Madison,
Yes.
Andrea Jenkins,
Yes.
Suki Hires,
Yes.
Sue Madison,
Yes.
Willie Lemming,
Yes.
Butch Pond,
Yes.
Lance Johnson,
Yes.
Susan Cunningham,
Yes.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
Abstain.
Patrick Deakins,
Yes.
Lisa Ecke,
Yes.
Sam Duncan.
Yes.
This
Madam
passes.
Chair.
Yes.
I move that we add items 7, 8, 9, and 10 to, 7, 8, and 9 to consent agenda. Brooklyn Court.
Okay, all those in favor? Second, all those in favor of adding these to the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All right, this, ordinance is passed on to the quorum court, for consideration. All right, now, we're ready for, number 10. This is FEMA money. Attorney Brian Lester, would you read the title, please?
Item 10 is an ordinance recognizing and approving revenue in the amount of $88,292.71 in the road department budget for 2020.
All right, this is FEMA money that needs to be appropriated into the road budget.
Move to pass.
Second.
All right, I have a move to pass, a second. Is there any discussion on the court? Public comment. Ms. Patty, will you please call the roll?
Chandra Washington,
Yes.
Eva Madison,
Yes.
Andrea Jenkins,
Yes.
Suki Hires,
Yes.
Sue Madison,
Yes.
Willie Lemming,
Yes.
Butch Pond,
Yes.
Lance Johnson,
Yes.
Susan Cunningham,
Yes.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
Yes.
Patrick Deakins,
Yes.
Lisa Ecke,
Yes.
Sam Duncan.
Yes.
This passes.
All right. This is passed on to the quorum court. Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
move to add item number 10 to the consent agenda as well.
okay.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, added to the consent agenda. All right, we are ready for Mayor Bruce Ledford.
10A.
Ordinance we added.
Can be,
Oh, 10B, I forgot 10B. We have an ordinance, okay, would you read the title, please, Brian Ledford?
This is an ordinance appropriating $3,220.62 to the building and grounds budget for 2020.
All right, this money is furniture for the new courtroom. Are there any questions?
Move to pass.
All right, I have a motion to pass. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Is there any further discussion?
I have a question.
Unappropriated funds.
Yes. JP, Sue Madison.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The estimate that we have from Cousins Office Furniture is, I think is for more. It's for $3,220.62. Would you say the amount again?
The amount, all right, I'm on the wrong, I need to get, here we go. Okay, $3,095.62, and then it has other professional services, $125, which I think was delivery of the furniture. There was a.
$125 is delivery. But this comes to $322.62.
$3,220.62 is what we have here.
Okay. Okay, that's what the invoice says from Cousins Furniture.
Okay. I had the invoice here just a minute ago. Okay. The total with tax was $3,220.62, and that's what on the invoice, and that was everything. So, and we took the delivery off and put it on there. So
Delivery
I
and
don't think
installation.
I don't think that there is a discrepancy. It looks.
They have to come out as separate line items because you have to pay the delivery and installation out of professional services line item, and you have to pay for the actual desks out of the small equipment line item.
Correct. Okay. Thank you. Are there any other questions? We have a motion and a second to pass. Oh, public comment? Hearing none, Ms. Patty, will you call the roll, please?
Sandra Washington,
Yes.
Eva Madison,
Yes.
Andrea Jenkins,
Yes.
Suki Hires,
Yes.
Sue Madison,
Yes.
Willie Lemming,
No.
Butch Pond,
Yes.
Lance Johnson,
Yes.
Susan Cunningham,
Yes.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
Yes.
Patrick Deakins,
Yes.
Lisa Ecke,
Yes.
Sam Duncan.
Yes.
This passes.
This ordinance will be sent on to Form Court for final passage.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
add 10B to the consent agenda as well.
All right, all those in favor and adding it to the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
All right, it's added to the consent agenda. All right, now, we are ready for,
Excuse me, Madam Chair. Who seconded that? Who seconded that?
Me.
Lisa.
Okay. I didn't hear a second.
Sorry. Second,
All right,
Madam Chair.
yes,
We're going to be moving on to item number
11.
11. I don't have 11.
Well, we do
I
have
have
11.
12. I've
Yeah,
got
we've got
10,
11
10.
first.
Do we have 11 or 12?
We have 11, which is Mayor Ledford for his request
Oh, I'm not
for
going to have
help
that.
with the district court in Elton. All right, Mayor Ledford, are you on?
Here, on the back.
Yes, Madam Chairman, I'm on.
Okay, would you like to explain your request, please?
Yes, ma'am. Since the district court has been out here in Elkins, it's been growing quite steadily. We take care of Washington County, Elkins, and Goshen. Elkins, and we have, all of us has a different number of caseloads. Washington County at end of October had 858 cases. Elkins had 449. Goshen had 153 cases. And that was to the end of October. And anyway, what we're asking for is just the funds to take care of the computer system and that kind of the postage and that kind of stuff there. We have outgrown our budget, and so we're asking for $19,535.21 from the county. We want to share this, a third with Elkins, a third with the county, and a third with Goshen. And that is our, Goshen has agreed to do so. And so we're at the county's level now trying to get some help from you guys.
All right, thank you. You should have this itemized list in front of you on page 29. So are there any questions for Mr. Mayor Ledford? J.P. Deacons.
Mayor Ledford, I have a question for you real quick. Have you sought any additional funding from the state level before coming to our county level?
No, sir, I have not.
I think my comment would be, I'm pretty sure the administration of those courts is a state level commitment. And I'm kind of tired of taking up a state level commitment at the county level. I think we've done our due share of that here at the county, and I would submit to you maybe that we should start at the Little Rock level.
We could probably try that.
Thank you.
I think Mayor Ledford's, the way they were thinking about this before was that, you know, we have county residents that, now this court meets once a week, is that correct, Mayor Ledford?
Yes, ma'am, it started out, we were meeting once a month. It has grown to the point where we're meeting once every week. And the crowd and everything out here, it kind of deters taking care of our city business because we've got so much court business going on. And it's got to be a full-time court deal instead of a city deal. And Washington County has the majority of the cases out here. So, you know, it kind of perturbs me when I have to take care of all of this stuff and I don't get anything out of it.
Okay, J.P. Pond?
I completely understand Mayor Ledford's his view on this, and I'm going to have a tendency to agree with him because it comes back around, and we've already we're billing the cities to help pay for people incarcerated in the jail. Where we didn't before, and we've insisted that the cities help us because that's grown to the point where we've just got to have help from the cities on that. And now the mayor's just asking for help for us to pay for the court cases that are coming in there. They're brought in there by the county. They're from out in the county, and it's we're going to have to learn how to help each other and not leave anybody hanging on any of this. I agree with Mayor Ledford that we need to be paying for our own our own cases, and to I can't begin to say how frustrating it is for us to tell them, well, you just need to go take it up with the state, and we can't even get the state to give us a fair reimbursement on the detainees that we're keeping in our jail under normal circumstances. Right now, what I consider we have going with this COVID issue is it's a catch and release program. It's not helping the safety and protecting the law-abiding citizens of the county or the city.
All right. Okay.
We need to work together and have some kind of partnership and a fair reimbursement city where we have some say-so over it. We don't have much say-so over what happens on the state level. And I just don't feel good about giving any of our mayors in the cities a runaround on this. Thank you.
All right.
JP Eva Madison.
Okay, JP Eva Madison. JP Eva Madison, you are recognized.
I'm sorry, I was trying to get off mute. I share JP Deacon's concerns about this being a state cost. However, I think that it's not really, the system isn't set up for the mayor of Elkins to run down to Little Rock and ask for $19,000, because if he asks for $19,000, then every district court in the state is going to be down there asking for their share. And so while this absolutely is a state function, historically the state has passed it to all the counties. And so I think that if we're going to make this a state issue, I don't think we can put it on the mayor of Elkins. I think we have to make it a bigger policy issue to discuss with legislators that needs to be addressed at the state level. So I support funding this simply because I think the way the state has set it up, they haven't left the city of Elkins with any other alternative. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, JP Lisa Ecke.
I want to
and then
support,
JP Yemi.
to support what Justice Eva Madison said, because every year I think we have this discussion on the state being derelict on their responsibility. However, if you look at all the county judges, we have to pay for all of their operational expenses, all their staffing, their services or supplies, and that's what the mayor from Elkins is doing, is asking us to pay a third of the same expenses. I would really like to see the policy change from the state. From what I understand, Little Rock is up to their eyeballs with money, and they don't need any more money, but they need to let go and help support the counties. Thank you, Madam Chair.
JP Lemmy.
On the fines and costs that they occurred, does any of that money come back to the county?
Yes, it does. We get about $64,000 a year from Elkins. That's what Bobby Hill has projected for 2021.
Well, say, let's just get 40,000 and give them 20,000. I mean, can you get your money out of the court costs and all that instead of giving it back to us?
Well,
Is that any way?
it comes back to
Brian?
us as administrative cost, like for the prosecuting attorney and those kinds of things. That's really what that money comes back for. But, you know, it could be used to help them out with their expenses too.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna have to turn around and give it right back to them, why not, when it goes through the process, the court costs and all that, why can't it stay there?
It's structured.
Well, we can unstructure it.
No, the
Well,
state tells us how much money we get back per case. The city gets a certain amount, the county gets a certain amount, and the state gets a certain amount typically. And so it's all established as to what those fees can be. Now, I think the court sets the fees and have been set years ago on what they are, but I think that that's just part of the court fines and fees and how it's distributed by the state.
Do we have any other comments? Do we have a motion?
Motion to pass.
Okay, I have a motion to pass. Do I have a second?
I second.
All right, Butch seconded.
Public comment?
Public comment.
Sarah Moore?
Okay, Sarah Moore, you're recognized.
Hi, Sarah Moore, Fayetteville. I agree with what Patrick, JP Deacon stated earlier about the courts are a responsibility of the state. And I also do agree with JP Madison that this has historically been a very hard thing to do, is get the state to take on their burden. My concern is a few things about the county doing this, taking on this burden for Elkins. is that, are we going to take on the burden for every other city that needs additional help with the cost of their court because of what citations are being issued by Washington County in those jurisdictions? I mean, Fayetteville would have the same issue, Johnson, Farmington, Prairie Grove. I mean, I don't know that we do this for anybody else. I know the city of Fayetteville spends $1 million on district court, and I'm pretty sure the city of Fayetteville has to fund all of that. The other thing, a bigger issue that I see in this is that this is a broader conversation that we're having, you know, within our county about our criminal justice system, and the fact that so many people in our county are impoverished and are sitting under tremendous weights of criminal matters, fines, and fees. And so one of the solutions, truly, he's talked about the increasing amount of cases that are happening in their courts, is that we could be actually writing less citations and having less interaction with law enforcement with our community members. We additionally have discretion in prosecutors' offices. Prosecutors can determine whether or not they are actually going to go through with those citations or tickets that occur when the officers interact with community members. So there's discretion and the ability to null pros those, and those don't all have to be processed. All of those improve efficiencies and actually would decrease the demands on the courts. So I'd really love to hear about a discussion too about if we've been seeing increased need for the courts, as he stated. It used to be once a month and now it's once a week. If there have been any assessment on the potential for other ways that we can mitigate the need. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
On the court?
I think we, on the court.
Yes,
Bill?
ma'am. I
Well,
might,
we've done the public comment.
are we through with public comment?
You can, unless you're a public, if you want to be part of the public comment, you can.
I'll be a part of the court comment if we got time to make any more.
Okay, go on.
As a representative of District 15, I have to tell you that, I believe that Mayor Ledford has come before us and brought this to our attention because they have been carrying a burden or a load for us that they need reimbursed for carrying our burden. And that's why this is here to start with. It's not, we can't have them carrying our load and pretending like by reimbursing them that we're doing them a favor. They've done us a favor to carry on with this process as long as they have. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other comment on the court? If not, Ms. Patty, call the roll.
Chandra Washington,
Yes.
Eva Madison,
Yes.
Andrea Jenkins,
Yes.
Suki Hires,
Yes.
Sue Madison,
Yes.
Willie Lemming,
No.
Butch Pond,
Yes.
Lance Johnson,
No.
Susan Cunningham,
No.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
No.
Patrick Deakins,
No.
Lisa Ecke,
Yes.
Sam Duncan.
No.
Seven, six, is that
Seven,
correct?
7-4, and 6 against.
All right, it's passed on to the quorum court. Thank you. All right, we're ready for road department. All right, we've had this discussion, and do I have a motion to pass the road department budget?
Motion to pass the road department budget.
All right, do I have a second?
I second. Second.
All right, we have a second. All right, now, do we have any discussion?
JP Eva Madison.
All right, JP, Eva Madison, you're recognized.
This budget has failed twice before. Nothing about it has changed. Very limited additional information has been made public. And so if this body suddenly flips and votes for it, I think the public has every reason to wonder what discussions have gone on behind the scenes to make this possible. I think we need to be very concerned about our transparency here. The last time this budget was proposed, there wasn't even a second on the motion. I think this is highly suspicious. We've received absolutely no information from the road department on their plans for the year, how they plan to spend the money, what projects they intend to work on. There's still a lot of unanswered questions about Winslow. So I have to vote against this just because I feel like we've been stonewalled on information. Thank you.
All right, J.P. Ecke.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The reason I didn't second at the last meeting was because I just didn't want for the argument to go on and the road department to be dragged through the mud unnecessarily. And that's why I didn't motion, but I do support the road department budget. I think we've been given information from the judge and given justifications as what is going on and a plan of action, their plan for correction. And we either accept that or you don't. I choose to accept it and in good faith to move on, trusting that they're going to do what's right. So I made a motion and it was seconded, and I hope it passes. Thank you, Madam Chair.
J.P. Sue Madison.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've lost the little button where you raise your hand. I don't know where it is, so thank you for recognizing me. Members, I want to remind you all of the extreme insult that the road department did to this court at a county services meeting. They were asked to attend to answer questions, and they did not attend. Any department that wants to react that way to this quorum court's committee meetings does not deserve to have a budget passed, and I'll be voting against it.
All right. J.P. Andrea Jenkins.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As the county services chair, I wanted to clarify again, I've already clarified a couple times, that I had contacted the judge's office to get the information to contact the roads department, and instead we were given the email. So I don't know that they weren't asked to attend because I wasn't given that information. So I don't, the buck stopped at the county judge's office after I had requested information on contact to get a hold of them. And so I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you. Any other comment? J.P. Pond.
Of course, I will be voting for this, and I took note that at that county services committee meeting, the county judge himself was there to report. There is no one at the road department that does not work for the county judge. I appreciate that the county judge came in and spoke up for his department. And I would imagine that he does not appreciate, I can't put words in his mouth. Let me put it a different way. I personally don't appreciate that sometimes the way employees are treated and humiliated and insulted when they come before this committee. When they come before this committee, there are questions that can be asked of them that they may, if they're capable of answering. There should never be a time when any county employee comes before this committee and accusations are made directed at that person or the department they work for. And I find that highly out of order when that happens, in that situation. I'm going to tell you again, I thank the county judge for coming in and speaking up for his employees. Thank you.
All right, are there any other comments? All right, are there any public no public comments on this? Okay, no, it's budget.
Washington,
Okay.
your hand raised.
JP Washington?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have two questions for you. So first of all, what happens if a budget is not approved for this department?
What happens is that the department is closed down on January the 1st, and over 100 employees will be laid off.
Okay, and my second question is, I think that the trepidation that a lot of people are having is that we are also receiving communication from our constituents regarding some of these other activities that have been brought up. So what do we do so that we can provide a satisfactory answer to them and still conduct the county business? I think that's why we're at a hard halt here. So as a body, what do we do?
All right, you go to the county judge and you take your questions and you ask for answers, and he's been doing that. He is in charge of his departments. If he wants to handle the situation this way, he has every legal right to do this. You might, if you have a particular road problem, you can call the road department. They have always helped me with my constituents and gone out and looked at situations. But, this is part of the budget process, not a particular road concern or a dirt pit concern. I think Judge Wood answered the questions. It's in a progress of being approved, the dirt pit at Winslow. And, this is something that you can continue in 2021 for oversight if you want other questions about the road department. But we are, at this point, trying to get a budget passed. Thank you. JP Eva Madison.
I find it ironic that we're accused of being rude to department heads when we haven't seen one in 3 years. They haven't been permitted to come speak to us. I agree that when I contact Charles Ward about an individual issue, he's responsive. If I contact him or any other department head about any other issue, they're not permitted to respond to me. The only avenue that at least some JPs have to obtain information is in this forum. I shouldn't have to go see Judge Wood in private to convey the concerns of constituents who pay his salary. Those questions should be asked and answered in public. They should be answered completely. I have tried repeatedly to ask questions. I finally emailed some, and I got about 25% answered.
That's not true.
So
Thank you.
I'm not finished, Madam Chair. I'm not finished. This is a fundamental problem. We have to have access to the people in the county that have the information. I understand that the judge is the head of the road department, but he's not out there operating a road grader. He's not out there hauling asphalt. He's not deciding the budgetary day-to-day issues of that department. We need to have access to those employees. He can't provide us full information if it's all filtered through multiple people. This county administration touts itself on transparency and does everything but be transparent. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. All right.
Can I speak on behalf of the judge?
Yes.
If he's not on?
JP,
I'll speak
Brian
because
Lester.
Judge Wood is the president and Chief of Staff Carl Gales is out for health reasons. Every question that's been asked by the quorum court has been answered. Every one of JP Madison's questions was answered. I thoroughly reviewed those answers to ensure that they were answered. 100% of them were answered. There might have been one question that was left off, and I believe it had to do with the video starting late at the last quorum court meeting, which was due to a new employee who was doing our video because the veteran employee we had left to take a different job. This is I don't know what else the judge can do. You want to sit and bring all these questions that you have months or weeks or however long to ask, and you want to pepper them when you've got somebody who, you know, Judge Wood, like she said, doesn't operate a road grader. We thoroughly investigated every accusation and issue that anyone had and was brought to us, and they have all been answered. Every single question has been answered thoroughly, and we have been as transparent as we can be about that. And so I disagree that the judge should get to come in and have to sit on the hot seat while certain people hurl accusations, and then accusations that aren't even about any specific topic. And so I would completely disagree. And, you know,
This is out of line for the parliamentarian. This is out of line. Parliamentarian, this is out of line.
He's not speaking as a
commentary. He's here to be a
Excuse me, JP Madison.
Well, if he's either the spokesperson for the judge or he's the parliamentarian.
Excuse me, don't interrupt me. He is speaking on behalf of
Then he
the
can't be
county
the parliamentarian. We can't have
Where
it.
are your roles?
Okay, he has two roles here. Yes,
Well, he
two
doesn't
roles.
get to play that role. He doesn't
All
get to
right.
play that as.
Okay, you're out of order. I'm gonna call you out of order.
Yeah,
Thank you for
you-
your
and-
comment. All right.
Madam Chair.
All right, we're gonna move on. All right. JP
Madam Chair.
Seaman.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
JP.
At an early meeting, when the Winslow Dirt Pit was first being discussed, with all the aberrations, and after we'd been charged by DEQ, I submitted a written list of questions to the judge and to all JPs. I've had no response to that, zero, not from anyone.
Okay, thank you for your comments. All right. Are there any other comments on the court?
Move the
All
previous
right, yes.
question.
All right. It's been moved, so, Miss Patty, will you please call the roll?
Chandra Washington,
Just JP.
Wait a minute, just a
Just
minute.
on to move the previous question, or we call the roll on the passage of the budget?
I thought all right. He called the question.
So we
He
have to
wasn't
vote on call.
recognized.
Okay. Yes, he was recognized. All right. Call of the question. All those in
Who's the
favor
second?
of calling the
Who's the
question,
second?
say
Second.
aye.
Who was the
Aye.
second? He wasn't seconded.
Second.
We'd already started to vote.
All right, okay.
Our parliamentarians were in the wrong hat.
Hey. All right. Are there any other, I'm gonna dismiss that, all right? Are there any other questions? If not, Miss Patty, call the roll on the road budget.
Chandra Washington,
Abstain.
Eva Madison,
No.
Andrea Jenkins,
No.
Suki Hires,
Abstain.
Sue Madison,
No.
Willie Lemming,
No.
Butch Pond,
Yes.
Lance Johnson,
Yes.
Susan Cunningham,
Yes.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
No.
Patrick Deakins,
Yes.
Lisa Ecke,
Yes.
Sam Duncan,
Yes.
I have 6 for, 5 against, and 2 abstains.
All right, I am going to vote yes, and I'm going to, that is ties. Send it on to the quorum court for consideration. All right. Is that correct, parliamentarian?
We've got a 7-7 tie.
So it fails.
It won't pass on.
All right, it will not pass on, but as chair and as a JP, I will put it on the agenda for the quorum court on the 17th.
Do that.
Because I am not going to close down the road department and, put over 100 people out of work and have them worried about this over Christmas. All right. We are ready.
I don't think it's funny.
I don't think, who's laughing?
Well, look at their faces.
I don't
think
they don't think it's funny either.
I know.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's my cat trying to get in front of the screen.
Like,
That's what
Her
we're-
cat. Her cat.
Okay. We now are ready for item 13. Would you please read the title to 13? Attorney Brian Lester.
Item 13 is an ordinance to establish the Washington County annual budget for the calendar year 2021.
Madam Chair,
Yes?
I'd like to make a motion to amend part of the language that we're considering. So I'd like to undo the language that says the equal distribution to the raises, which is probably line 93. And I'd like to use the same language that we used in the 2020 budget, which says, goes back to the 3% on line number 88 on that previous language. And I say that because, number one, we have not had a study or more information on the impact that a flat rate raise will have on these positions. And without having that study done, we don't know how many of these positions are going to be over their pay grade. And then there will be some of those that will be under their pay grade. And I think we should stick with what we already know that is approved by JSAP as to what is fair. And I know that Mr. Johansson did recommend that we do the percentage and not the flat rate. Point two, I asked Comptroller Worthen, and he had already done the numbers on this. But with the flat rate, we were looking at the $950,598 for the flat rate, where everybody gets so much per month. Doing the 3%, as we did last year with those controls, the difference will be $810,000, a savings of $140,598. And if we're looking at savings, then I would recommend that we would all support the 3% across the board. And I also feel that it is more equitable for all. You have some people that have PhDs, master's degrees, they have certain skill sets, longevity. Let's just take the county clerk's office in this unprecedented election that they went through. Oh my goodness, they were working every weekend trying to get all of these mail-in ballots and counting, and those people are not getting compensated. I think the difference would be from the lower end, they'll get a 6.8% pay increase, where those with seniority and higher education skill sets will only get a 2.3% pay increase over the year. I think we need to do something that's equitable for all, and the percentage raise is the most equitable of all.
All right.
So I make a motion to amend that language.
Do I have a second to this motion?
I just have a clarifying question for me.
Yes.
So the proposal then is to change the language so it wouldn't be the flat 140 a paycheck or whatever. You're wanting to go back to his original recommendation, which is the 3%.
Which we've already voted on.
And which we do the 3%. All full-time, and you can find all full-time who qualify for annual leave will receive a 3% pay increase effective the first paycheck of 2021. And then it goes on, but it's a percentage increase, which is equitable for everybody. This other flat rate is not equitable. It's
Socialist.
It's socialist at its best, and it's going to cost more money.
All right.
We'll be saving $140,598 by doing what we've always done before, and it's JSAP approved. This flat rate has not gone through their job positions. So I
Okay,
think we need
we
to wait on that.
cannot discuss this proposal unless we have a second.
I'll second.
All right,
Thank you.
we have a second. All right, J.P. Pond.
I have a question to ask the parliamentarian. Can this be brought back up by someone who voted for the original proposal and then?
I voted against it.
Yeah, you can, anybody can move to amend. When you're voting on an ordinance, you can amend it now, or you can all vote to amend anything when you get to quorum court, even though it passes out of committee. JP Eva Madison has her hand raised.
J.P. Eva Madison.
Madam Chair, this costs less money because it gives less to those at the bottom who need it the most. We were not trying to give raises. We were trying to give just basically a cost of living adjustment to everyone that was the same. But I think to do this on December 8th, after it already passed and employees had no notice of this change, is not fair. I mean, employees who didn't know this wasn't on the agenda, that it was going to be changed or discussed. And so all we're doing is pulling a fast one and reaching into the pockets of the lower paid employees and taking money out just before Christmas. So I can't support that.
Are there any other comments?
Yes, Judith Young.
J.P. Duncan.
May I make a motion to further amend, and I don't know if that's proper order, but we originally talked about giving those who were at the top of the bracket, or I guess who had exceeded the maximum, giving them a one-time check rather than adding that to their salary.
That's 27th pay period.
No, it wasn't.
Totally separate conversation. Has nothing to do with 27th pay period.
Right,
okay.
If you had exceeded the maximum in your bracket, then it would be a one-time check rather than a pay increase of a 3%. And so that way next year it wouldn't be a percentage increase on top of a percentage increase. Would you entertain a motion to include the 3%, except for those who have exceeded the maximum? In that case, they would get a one-time check.
It says the maximum salary caps in all grades shall be suspended for the 2020 budget year, the sheriff's step positions. So it would be the same language as we've always done before.
Okay.
In there.
Duncan's going back to something that we previously talked about when Joe Hansen was here, and we voted that night, and we went on and voted to include everybody in the $150 instead of giving those people at the top of the salary just a one-time bonus. So
Essentially,
it
yes.
did not go on their salary. Right now, it is on their salary. Okay.
And that would be,
Parliamentary.
It says it's maximum salary.
Okay, that's not in there.
Okay.
It's not there. This is something different.
Okay.
This is, okay. Parliamentarian. I don't have a second to this. Is this proper?
To amend an amendment?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, but he didn't really amend an amendment. He added to the amendment having to do with salaries.
Well,
We have two amendments on the floor.
She made a motion to amend, and he's making a motion to amend the amendment.
Okay, let's
And yes,
carry
it's proper.
these as two separate items. All right. We have a second to replace the 100 and,
Well, technically, you would need to take his
His.
motion first.
all right. He doesn't have a second.
I'll second
All
it.
right,
Make it a friendly amendment.
All right, we have a second. All right. Now, is there any further discussion on this? If not,
JP Yanez has her hand raised.
all right. JP Yanez.
I just want to make an observation. I was following the intellectual conversation that, JP Ecke was trying to make on benefit of employees. And then I was completely lost on the socialist comment because now I don't know the intention of this. And when we're focused with our employees, we really need to keep that focus, all of us, because we're here to serve them. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Now, we have a motion.
That's not funny.
To a second to eliminate those people at the top of the salary would receive the bonus, and the $130 would not be part of their salary. All right. Any other comments on that? All right.
And the other
Patty?
remaining employees would receive a 3% raise.
Okay, no, they're two separate things. We're gonna vote on them separately.
But that was what my motion was for, is that people at the top of the salary bracket would receive a one-time bonus of 3%. Those
Okay.
remaining employees would receive.
Parliamentarian.
So there's the initial motion was to amend altogether to go to what was previously stated in the 2020 budget controls regarding a 3% raise.
Right.
And then there was a motion to amend that amendment to state that anyone that was at the top of the salary bracket would get a 3% one-time bonus and not a raise. And anyone that was not at the top of the salary bracket would get a 3% raise.
All right, so
And
he
so what
wanted
we're voting on is Sam's amendment to JP Duncan's amendment to JP Ecke's amendment.
addition to it. Is
Right,
it?
we'll have to go
It'd
through,
be an
we have to go
amendment,
through
but it
JP
would.
Duncan's first, and
Okay.
then depending on that, then we'll go back to JP Ecke's
All
amendment.
right. We're gonna vote on, the amendment.
JP Duncan's amendment. Yes.
Amendment to give the bonus to the top salaries, and it would not become part of, the 3% would not become part of their salary.
One-time bonus, not a raise.
One-time bonus, all right. Does everybody understand that?
JP Eva Madison has her hand raised.
Okay, JP Eva Madison.
I'm thoroughly confused. I think a lot of people are from the looks.
I can't hear you.
I don't understand so are we voting on JP Duncan's, if we vote on that, does it amend JP Ecke's motion? And so then they merge?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay. So
if it passes.
Duncan's motion were to pass and JP Ecke's fails, we go back to the original.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
JP Hires.
JP Hires.
Okay, well, I thought I understood what was going on, and now I absolutely don't understand what's going on. So can we please just go back through this, because we came in with one ordinance that we had all kind of worked on, and now we're completely changing everything at the last minute. And so every time I think I've got a grip on what y'all are talking about, you change it. And so could we just go back over this one more time? Thank you.
Okay. Attorney Lester, you can explain it better than I did. So would you please explain the motions again? JP Ecke.
Thank you, Madam Chair. May I accept his amendment as a friendly amendment to what I offered?
That doesn't really exist in parliamentary procedure. So, I mean,
So friendly amendment, so
everybody's okay with
it's
it, sure, but what
To
we
make
would
it
be
one
doing,
motion.
what we'd be doing right now, JP Hires, is JP Ecke made a motion to amend the raises from 100, from the straight 1560 back to 3% as was written in the previous budget. JP Duncan has moved to amend that amendment to state that anyone that was at the top of their bracket for their salary would receive a one-time 3% bonus, whereas anyone else would receive a 3% raise. And so what we're voting on is JP Duncan's amendment for the people at the top, for them to get a one-time bonus, and for everyone else to get the just regular 3% raise.
All right. All right, Ms. Patty, please call the roll on the amendments. On JP Duncan's amendment.
Chandra Washington,
What?
can you repeat?
No.
Eva Madison,
No.
Andrea Jenkins,
No.
Suki Hires,
No.
Sue Madison,
No.
Willie Lemming,
No.
Butch Pond,
No.
Lance Johnson,
Yes.
Susan Cunningham,
Yes.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
No.
Patrick Deakins,
Yes.
Lisa Ecke,
Yes.
Sam Duncan.
Yes.
It fails.
All right, it failed.
Now we're on the motion.
Okay, we're now on the motion to amend,
Can we
the
read,
raise to 3%.
could we read what the language was on the last year's budget control, if we can, please?
I don't have that in front of me. I just have the
Would you
amendment.
mind, Mr. Lester, if you would read it?
The amendment from JP Ecke would amend starting at, on page 33, line 88 through 93, that paragraph would be stricken, and the amendment would state, all full-time employees who qualify for annual leave will receive a 3% pay increase effective the first paycheck of 2021. Full-time employees with less than 1 year service shall receive a 3% pay increase upon his or her anniversary date. Maximum salary caps in all grades shall be suspended for the 2021 budget year. The sheriff's step positions will receive the raises as passed by Quorum Court, and I don't have that ordinance, 2 years ago, instead of the 3% raise. Salaried positions within the sheriff's step system will receive the same 3% increase that other full-time employees in the county receive. Any employees that received raises during 2020 greater than 3% will not receive this 3% raise unless it was the result of a promotion or regrade of their position.
Thank you, Mr. Lester.
All right, are there any other questions? Ms. Patty, call the roll.
Chandra Washington,
No.
Eva Madison,
No.
Andrea Jenkins,
No.
Suki Hires,
No.
Sue Madison,
No.
Willie Lemming,
No.
Butch Pond,
No.
Lance Johnson,
Yes.
Susan Cunningham,
Yes.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
No.
Patrick Deakins,
Yes.
Lisa Ecke,
Yes.
Sam Duncan.
Yes.
Fails.
All right, the motion, failed. Now we're back to, the, ordinance to establish Washington County annual budget for the calendar year 2021. All right.
JP, keep them out.
All right, these basically contain what we used to call budget controls. Well, Article 4 is budget controls. All right, JP Sue Madison.
Eva.
Oh, Eva Madison.
So I'm confused how this passing a whole budget out aligns with what's already pending before the quorum court in the form of JP Duncan's ordinance, which is on third reading and is not the same as this. So can somebody explain the procedure there to me?
All right. JP Duncan sets the percentages for the money for the elected officials. And then they get a certain amount of money. This then recognizes that it's not in conflict with it. It is just part of it.
The percentages don't match the numbers, though. That's what I'm confused about. The percentages don't match the numbers. So I don't know how we're gonna being asked to pass.
I don't understand what you mean, the percentage. We don't have any percentages in this ordinance.
No, the percentages in JP Duncan's ordinance do not match, do not translate into the numbers in this budget.
Yes, they do.
Well, you need to get your calculator out again.
I did get the calculator out, and I did go through them, and yes, when you carry the numbers out, they do confirm what each elected official
Madam
is
Chair, the
receiving.
ordinance before us doesn't have the decimal places carried out.
Well, I know it doesn't, but at that point,
Well, we can't pass it.
JP, I'm gonna let our attorney explain this. Ryan Lester, please explain.
The ordinance that was presented by JP Duncan that's been changed a few times was an ordinance to establish a procedure to consider the budget. Ultimately, you have to pass a budget ordinance wherein you pass the budget. This would be the budget ordinance that would pass the overall budget as approved by the quorum court. This ordinance here has language that invalidates and supersedes any other ordinance that was passed. And so in the event that there was a conflict, this ordinance prevails over any of the other ordinances.
Okay, well, I have some other questions. What I don't understand is, and this goes to what I tried to understand so hard about the mechanics of JP Duncan's motion, because I was actually interested in that. I thought we had discussed that people who were at their maximum salary caps would not go over those caps, and the ordinance specifically says that they will. So I'm concerned about that because I don't think that's what we discussed. I don't think we've discussed the 27th payroll and resolved that issue, and it needs to be included in here. And then I think there's some members of the public that are concerned because what was sent to us as the budget with every page seemingly with a different updated date on it is not what's on the website. And so there's, I don't know that I know what we're being asked to vote on. And then in addition, there's the issue of the judge's emergency fund. There was a lot of discussion about that. That's included. We don't know what it is. I guess just overall, I'm frustrated that we spent multiple meetings debating the percentage ordinance that prevented us from talking about the actual details of the budgets, only being now being asked to improve the entire budget that it was presented to us without regard to that ordinance and the fact that it's on third reading. And I just kind of look back and think, why has anybody been paying us to come to these meetings? Because we've done nothing. So I think that the state of the budget is incredibly uncertain. We've not been able to ask questions about it. we've been told to deal with this percentage method that is absolutely in conflict with what we're being asked to do tonight. And I do agree with Mr. Lester that, you know, the last ordinance we passed is going to be the one that survives and will trump the other one. But to the extent we spent time trying to work on a procedure that we're now throwing out is just really confounding. And if members of the public are watching this, I think they're probably trying to figure out what's wrong with us as a body. But thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right. Do I have a motion to pass Washington County annual budget for the calendar year 2021? This is when we pass, because it's on third reading and we have will become a part of this when it's passed. This has not passed the court yet. It just is going to be sent to the court to be voted on. Do I have a motion?
I have a motion. I'll make the motion.
All right, Lisa Ecke has made a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
And I have a second. All right. Now, this is December the 8th. And if we don't have a budget, we can either meet every day including Christmas until we get this hashed out, or we can go on and these items have been passed year after year after year in the county. There's nothing mysterious about this. There's nothing mysterious about the percentages. Now, whether this works or not, this will be for the new court to look at. I see no reason why it won't work. All right, we have a motion and did I have a second?
Yes, J.P. Johnson.
J.P. Johnson, all right. J.P. Ecke.
Using percentages is just a different metric system that we've used than what previous courts have used. There's nothing wrong with using various metrics. It's just a different way of looking at budgets. And I, for one, like graphs and charts and percentages, so that way you can get a different understanding of the budget. Using strictly numbers that, like we've used before, has been confusing to me. After a while, they just kind of all merge together. So I don't see that there is anything suspect of the procedure other than it's just a different metrics. That's all. Thank you.
All right. We have a motion and we have a second. Any other comments? All right. Public comment? All right.
Beth Coger.
Who?
Beth Coger.
All right. Beth Coger, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have just a few comments. First of all, the ordinance that we're looking at right now, it says the budget is attached, but the budget wasn't attached. And it says the public can get a copy at the county clerk's office, but I called the county clerk's office today and she doesn't have a copy. So I want to know, has the court seen the actual 2021 budget that you're voting on right now? Because we, the public, have not. Additionally, the website has, for the 2021 budget controls, the website for the county list, the budget controls for 2020, not 2021. And also, I think it's wrong to say that the budget this year is just a different metric, because we really don't have a budget that I can see. But also, when we approve percentages like that and we don't actually look at line items, we don't actually see what was spent by each department, that's just not a good way to do a budget. And I'm sorry to see that the road department budget passed, will go on to the court anyway, without even knowing what projects that money is going to cover for next year. That's just not a good oversight of tax dollars. Thank you. And it's not funny.
Anyone else have a comment? All right. Ms. Patty, call the roll.
Chandra Washington,
Abstain.
Eva Madison,
No.
Andrea Jenkins,
Nope.
Suki Hires,
Abstain.
Sue Madison,
No.
Willie Lemming,
No.
Butch Pond,
Yes.
Lance Johnson,
Yes.
Susan Cunningham,
Yes.
Derek Thomas, Judith Yanez,
No.
Patrick Dickens,
No.
Lisa Ecke,
I'm glad people agree with me that it's not funny. Thank you. Yes.
Sam Duncan,
No.
I have 4 for, 7 against, and 2 abstain.
All right, this is another item that's failed, but it's another item I'm going to put on the agenda for the quorum court to vote on. If we don't approve a budget, the county closes down on January the 1st. And, you know, we can either approve the budget and you people can get your answers that you need between now and the 17th. It will be up to the county judge whether we have any special.
Oh.
Lost your sound. We've lost audio. Can y'all hear us?
We can't hear anything.
We have lost audio.
No audio.
Madam Chair,
We've lost audio.
we cannot hear you. Is she still going? I don't understand. Is she, what are we?
Just a minute, we're trying to find out what's going on.
You're back. You're back.
Okay, we're good. All right, public comment.
JP Eva Madison?
JP Eva Madison?
I just wondered how we would go about getting our questions answered before December 17th on the whole budget.
I'll call the county judge or whoever you need an answer from to get your answers.
Well, how will that happen for the public's benefit?
The public,
You'll tell them.
They do deserve to
doesn't
know,
vote on
right?
the budget.
Miss,
Excuse me.
through their
I-
JP, through their JP, through
Well-
their representative.
Through their representative, I guess, JPs. But the responsibility is for the JPs to be educated and informed so you can tell your constituents.
I'm asking how we
have
go
a
about doing that.
problem with,
Because we've been meeting since September and we haven't been able to do that. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna do it in the next week and a half.
well, you could have done it if
In
you
private.
had taken the time
In
to.
private,
I'm not
right.
gonna argue with you. Thank you.
Motion to.
All right, do we have any other public comment? If
Motion
not,
to
do I
adjourn.
have a motion to adjourn?
Yes, ma'am.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Second, all right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned.
Not funny.